chefs that have taken passion to extraordinary heights, achieved by Chef Akshat Parihar, known his exceptional ability to fuse global flavors with traditional culinary techniques. He's not just a chef, he is an artist, constantly pushing boundaries of creativity in kitchen. With mastery over 18 cuisines, he has made a name for himself on international stage. In 2024, Chef Akshat was honored with prestigious title of Youngest Celebrity Chef globally at Sardar Patel National Awards, a recognition that highlights his exceptional skill contribution to the culinary world at the young age. His journey is one of the innovation, passion, and relentless dedication. So let's look deeper into his career, very flavorful journey, and uncover the key ingredients behind his remarkable
Wow,
success.
such a graceful
So
introduction, I must say. Thank you.
thank you so much, sir, for
No
joining
worries,
us
please.
today. But before we go to
Mhm.
our questions, very big day for India, as our armed forces have
Yeah,
portrayed the
exactly.
landmark prowesses both on field and on
Yeah,
conversation. And it's time to now have a conversation on yet another, power that is like that India has possessed, that is
exactly.
food. So without yeah, so without any further ado, let's jump into the question. But before we start, we go into technical questions. How about so you tell us about your journey, how your deep passion for culinary at a very young age, was there, and how did your journey
See, I'll
exactly started
explain you. So
in the field?
technically, there was like it has always been a very interesting story, which like always whenever I meet people or let's say if I have my interviews or some podcast, this thing always goes in a my journey was never a very smooth, like no one's nice journey. Any success story is never smooth. Again, coming back to the thing. But when you talk about my journey, it has always been in a way where, things were never so planned, I would say. Okay, things were always unexpected. Things were always on a hit and trial method. Things were always that, okay, this is a very huge wall. What if and how if? There were a lot of question marks to reach to where things has to go and where, like, with God's grace, I would say today I'm standing. So the plan was very rough. The only thing which was clear was that I would say when I was still my like I guess I was still in my undergrad, I was very much clear that this is something I definitely want to do. And the main problem was when I realized this, I had to choose what I'm gonna do for my graduation, and I was still undergoing my final board examination, I would say. And apart from me, no one else was satisfied with my this thing. That okay, I wanted to become a chef. Because to be very specific, at that time, it was not that much in the era that becoming a chef is that okay or that it was not that a cool thing. I would say in today's trending language, it was not being a chef was not that cool because people used to say if you want to do a respectable thing, so you have to go in a white collar profession. So either you learn business or you go into a job which is a good 9 to 5 profession where you dress yourself up well, you get a nice good package of a salary, and that's how it is. Like tomorrow if somebody asks, we can say our son is in so and so company in so and so position, or he's doing engineering xyz whatever. So I would say I'm not saying any another profession is not right. Coming back to the thing, every profession is right, but at the end of the day you should be happy and satisfied in what you are doing. So I was very clear that this is something which gonna give me some peace in mind. So I was like, definitely I want to do this. So then my parents took a right role. I would say I was very blessed to have such positive parents that they told me, you go for it. We give you 5 years. If you can, if we see the graph going even 5% on the height, you are good to go. But if nothing happens, so then you come back and you're going to start up with the basic things like people do, doing your CA, CS, graduations, whatever you want. So that's how this whole process started. And then I was like, I'm gonna do it. And when I entered the hospitality industry from my graduation thing, I started loving and things were going, when you suddenly feel every de-aligned thing is suddenly getting aligned. So I was like, okay, now things are making sense, and then I just never saw back, and that's what it
Yeah. Yes, so I think as you exactly mentioned about not giving
is.
up
Exactly.
and plus being yeah, satisfying with what
Yeah,
you're doing is something very important.
exactly.
With is what one. But so you are also someone who have worked with not just nationally with a lot of brands, but also with a lot of international brands in
Hmm.
Kuwait or you say in Europe. And in a lot of international brands also you have worked. So how do you adapt your culinary creations to cater to like diverse culture palettes while maintaining your signature, your
See,
own signature style?
I'll tell you one thing. So when you're talking about this thing, at the end of the day, culinary is also one another form of an art. Okay. At the end, anybody or each respectable chef who is creating things, menus, or anything globally or nationally or anywhere, at the end, they are artists because what they are doing is creating something. So, anybody who creates something out of his passion is an artist. Now, it can be food, it can be interior designer, it can be a artist, it can be a musician. So, what happens is, for example, let's say if you take a random example, let's say if a designer have to design the dresses. Okay. Now, if you take him to any continent and you make him sit there, max in 2 to 3 days, he'll start stitching. The thing where he will change is the style and the pattern, what people want over there. Same goes for that, I would say, because he knows his technicalities are very clear, I would say. So same goes for us. I would say my Sigma rule of life is whenever I have taken a project in any of the country or when I started taking, now things have become very smooth. But in initials, when it was like I was changing countries, totally new cultures, language barriers, cuisine barriers, cultural barriers. So then I figured out a thing that, okay, the best part is I know the technicalities. I know what has to be the balance of ingredients and flavors. Then I was like, why I need to worry about anything? Like that's how the thing came. Like for example, there are like many people are focused towards, for example, one cuisine. For example, you can see chefs who are specialized in Italian cuisine, chefs who have done very nicely, being working very closely in Indian cuisine. Okay, some are very closely being into like let's say modern Asian. So I thought I didn't want to limitize to one single cuisine. Why can't this thing go beyond and beyond? So that's what it started. And I was like, okay, so at the end of the day, if you ask me, like you are coming back to your question, if you know the right balance, how to balance the spices and ingredients, and you have the sense of understanding the culture in any country, it just max takes you a couple of days to understand, streamline. You go to the local markets, go to the fine dine restaurants, talk to people, understand the culture, and at the end, it's the thing which you have to create and cook is the same ingredients globally. Max things changes, spices change, but the technique remains the same, balance remains the same. Is just some places can be off towards different palettes. You just need to understand the palette. I need to say technicalities are same, and you can really do and work at any cuisine with every cuisine. Sorry, and any continent. It's always very easy. So that's my Sigma rule.
Yes, definitely. Your signature, I think every one of us have understand very clearly. But also talking about, nationally, internationally, as they have different
Mm-hmm.
cuisines or flavor palette,
Mm-hmm.
thing. Uh, as you know, as you are someone who have mastered over, 18
Mm-hmm.
cuisines, okay? Uh, something like when we do I.I.M.U.N as an organization, we also do something called as organizing M.U.N conference
Okay.
in 220 cities and 35 countries across. And we build local citizen, but we also ensure that the kids they are very authentic to their
Mm-hmm.
culture and their roots. So, as what motivated you as a chef to, first go such into diverse range of, cuisine?
Sorry. I
Oh,
just I
what
just lost your last sentence. That's all I heard. Can you?
Yes. So my question basically revolves around so basically as you being someone who have mastered over 18 cuisines, you
Mhm.
know. So what motivated you to go for such a diverse range of cuisines, and how do you ensure that the authenticity of the food is there, but yet you have infused your own
See,
unique touch in it?
I'll say, coming back to the question, see, to understand any place, any cuisine, or any authentic, when you talk about, as you asked, authenticity of that country and region, okay, I would say before creating, curating anything, it's first important to understand the people over there. Okay, I would really recommend anybody or any of the growing and learning chefs or any students try to understand what we do. Okay, let's say tomorrow, for example, you send me to Malaysia and you want me to design something over there. Okay, so the concept which we all 90% times understand is okay, I will go to Malaysia, I'll go to the local market, I'll see the ingredients, I'll visit the restaurants, and then I will create something mixing and matching. These are the ingredients, this is what people eat, I'm going to create something like this, I'll give my touch and close. No, I would say there is a very important add on to this thing. Before doing all these things, you should first go meet the people in that place, talk to people, conversate with them, understand what is their vision, talk to them about food. Don't just talk about food, talk about lifestyle, their likes, dislikes. You might learn a lot of things which you will not learn just from the food joints and from the food markets. Maybe, for example, if I have to tell you a small thing, I go to Singapore, I know what is the cuisine, I'll visit two, three restaurants, I'll see the market, I'll come and create a menu. But maybe if I talk to at least 20 people in that country, giving 2 to 3 days, travel with them, meet them randomly, talk to strangers, new people, I might also get some things which are really lacking in the market and which people really want and which nobody has ever invented. For example, like I was one time in Saudi Arabia, I was designing this brand name BLAC. You just pronounce it as Black. It's a modern American chain doing very well over there. So technically, they were totally focused on the modern American cuisine, and people were always loving it. So they were like, okay, chef, let's just explore the market and crack it. I was like, okay. When I started talking to people and understanding, there was a very weird thing which nobody can ever imagine being in Saudi Arabia. People were very fond of having a duck salad, for example, which people were not aware only. And then when talking, then I was like, okay, when I talked to 10 people, from 10, at least 4 of them told me about this thing. So why not to come with my touch and version to a duck salad? And then we did a shredded, crispy, crunchy duck salad to it and added in the menu. And trust me, the moment the promotions happened, people came to know about the social media awareness that this is something is happening. You can really see people coming and at least 2 to 5 tables coming at minimum every day for just that duck salad. And then in a month, that thing became a signature over there. So I would say it's good to understand the ingredients and the concept, but it's also important to understand the culture, what people want, what the crowd wants over there, and also add on, also maintain the authenticity of their cuisine. Never play with the authenticity of any cuisine to any region, I would say. Always you can modify as per your version, but I would say never try to do or play with that fine boundary line of the thread of authenticity. So that's how it is. So make sure the base remains the same. You play with the upper level of ingredients and rest of the presentations, come up with something new, keeping in mind what the clientele wants. And I would say that's the key to success in culinary.
Yes, so definitely I agree from what you said that even before, infusing your very own unique touch in it, you basically how you went through the experiences of people about what they actually like before infusing your own unique touch, how important it is to know the perspective of
Hmm.
everyone before
Exactly.
you create. Yeah. So my next question revolves around in the field of culinary, you see there is increasingly importance of
Hmm.
sustainability now. People now are looking forward to sustainable food products and habits. So, how do you incorporate in your very own kitchen the practices of sustainability? Plus, people who are like youngsters who would like to pursue a career in culinary, what advice would you give to those young chefs about eco-friendly cooking and everything?
See, I would always say when like many of the chefs are also promoting in a very right way, I would say, which is a very good thing. At the end of the day, see, we are at a stage, if you always read about, of course, and go back in times, how it always started, that early man stage where there was less of the resources, less of ingredients, everything. There was a lot of ingredients, but they were not identical, that what is what can we consume. So at that stage when we really had nothing, so when we started creating what we have evolved till date, so we used to use all the natural techniques. Technically we used to reuse the things, we used to recycle the things, we used to use what how much best we can, because we had a thing in our mind that we have a limited amount of resources which we really need to use. Now since we have lot of resources, so what I would say we are lacking is we are focusing towards the comfort zone now. We don't think, I mean, like, for example, I would not uh, use even a basic gas line at my home, even if it's a direct gas line to cook, rather than when I know I can do the same thing in 1 minute in a microwave, for example, where
Hmm.
again I know what lot kind of rays I'm gonna face, my food gonna face before I consume. At the same way,
Hmm.
of course, we have totally forgotten the way where we used to cook in the fresh, let's say, clay ovens. The food used to get cooked, okay, and with wood and fire and everything. Okay, forget. I agree that no one gonna go in today's world. I'll not go to my society or villa and start cooking food outside in a mud clay oven. But of course, what we can focus is trying as much local we can, use the ingredients,
Hmm.
go less with the frozen things, okay, try to reuse the things, try to use as fresh ingredients as you can, try to use lesser of the resources. I would say none of the resources is wrong. Any current resources, you call it microwave, you call it a electronic based device, you call it a direct gas line, let's say talk about cooking medium, or you, let's say you go to a convection oven, anything is nice, but you should know when what is required in order for you to stay safe and go long. I'm not saying don't use all the technologies, me myself following all the trends, so I totally support each of the thing. But I always know, I have a line that, okay, for example, what thing can be done in what ways, in for order for us to stay healthy, to cook healthy, to feed people who are having something healthy, which is good for them. So the best key is always to use as fresh you can, never go for frozen stuff. If you want to learn, okay, freezing up things, use, evolve, learn, start preserving things in natural ways, and then reusing by yourself rather than getting something with a lot of chemicals inside, like I would say. So the best way is to go local, go fresh.
Yes, go local, go
Exactly.
fresh. That will be
That can be the top
the
line to
new
this one.
line to that. Yes, definitely so. But talking about
Hmm.
health and everything, in India, in Indian households, especially in my
Yeah.
own household, the concept of healthy, according to my mother, is eating at least heavier amount of ghees
Yeah.
and everything. So then that becomes a little heavy. Plus, we do gain very much into fats and everything. So, according to you, which is one traditional dish that you would like to healthify? Okay, but keeping the essence as it is. Which one would it be, and how would you do that?
See, if you
According to
if you
you.
ask me the most technical thing, let's go back to the state where I was born and brought up. Okay, so I am in
Okay.
so I inhaled from a state named Rajasthan. So okay, so I belong to Rajasthan, and it started from Jaipur and some of the extensions of Jaipur like Kota, Jodhpur, everywhere the family was extended. Okay, so in Rajasthan, this question totally fits right with my state. Okay, the main dish of Rajasthan, if you go with veg and non-veg both is, if you go for veg, it's dal bati. If you go for non-vegetarian, is bati with lal mas. Okay, that's the most traditional dish. Where still, let's not talk about past. Still, if today I go to my home, my mother, if bati is being prepared over there, she will tell the maid that take two batis. This is a very basic thing, and they really feel bad if you don't follow this. The bati, once it's baked, it has to be cracked in two pieces. It has to be dipped in at least half a liter of ghee being melted in a bowl, and they leave it for 20 minutes until the bati really soaks the whole thing. Like I can literally squeeze and take half of a cup of ghee from one bati. I can guarantee it's really not a myth. So if I have to really recreate, I'll recreate this first specific thing. And my take on this will be taking the same thing. See, batis until they are baked are very healthy. Okay. Until you don't push them to swim in that ghee, they are very healthy thing. It's a very healthy process, very traditional dish. Dal is mix of lentils, very healthy again. Serve with salad, again healthy. Nice dry baked bati. But the thing of authenticity is dipping it into the ghee part. Okay. So I would always say if you have to give the same taste to this thing, like I personally do the same thing. Because they say without ghee, there will not be the main essence and taste to that dal bati thing. Because if you don't add ghee, there cannot be anything. So I always say that there can always be texts and techniques. If I have to have the same dal bati, maybe I can have the same bati, but being broken and dipped in a nice dal bowl together with some chunks, put the salad on top of it, and then I will take a teaspoon of ghee. I can just drip it on top of it. At the end, it's giving me the same aroma. If and when they say that you don't add a lot of ghee, it will not give you that authenticity of flavors infused. No worries, I'll let a small dip bowl being floating on top of that bowl, which has nice amount of dal. All the bati can be mashed and kept inside salad. Let a little small aluminium foil based bowl floating, keep a small charcoal, put just half a spoon of ghee, cover it for 2 minutes, the whole ghee fragrance goes in the dish, remove that thing, then still drip a half more, I would say tablespoon of ghee, and then let the people have. You'll have the same fragrance, same taste with ghee, but with 1 spoon of ghee rather than having 300 ml of ghee in one bati.
Yes,
That's
so we
something.
have gotten our new
Yeah,
way to diet where we have ghee,
exactly,
but we don't have
exactly.
liters of ghee. Yes, but so you are very well known for your corporate chef as
Yeah,
Captainary.
yeah, that is the
So,
project I started. I would say that was my project at very initial stage of my culinary journey when I took it, and I don't used to stay in India that time, but they specifically told me, please come for 4 months to create this brand. And this was such a very unique, full challenge, I would say. So these people wanted to come up with a vision where they wanted to, start QSR projects and suddenly all around India, not just in one state. Okay, and they wanted to create like their tagline was ki in each mall there has to be one QSR of Captain Egg. Okay, now it's not coming up with a brand. If it's Chinese, Mexican in a food court, still understandable. They want to come up with a brand which is only based on egg. There has to be minimum 100 plus varieties, and everything has to be egg based. So okay, one can imagine 5, 10, 20. But when you want a menu of 100 to 150 things, and everything should look separate, taste separate, and egg based. So that was a challenging concept. But yeah.
so, how did you overcome with, because a lot of if we talk about India as a country, so how did you redefine the perception of people in India on your different egg-based dishes, and how did you overcome them?
So basically, in India, when you talk about people, okay, I will call it my nation as well because I was always born over there. So, like, if you ask about myself, also, we have a basic perception what can we eat with egg, half fried egg, poached eggs, maybe, or a good omelette. Maximum a good omelette,
Hmm.
that's what we go. Worst case, it can be, if you talk in Indian language, a good scrambled egg or a anda burji. That's the maximum to it, you can say. Okay, nothing more, or let's say half boiled eggs, half fried, that's what. But then, you need to really make them understand that there can be really lot more to it. Okay, eggs can also be had in an Indian, I would say, like when you talk about paneer, okay, and for non-vegetarians, chicken. This two ingredients goes really well in each thing if you know the technique to add them. Really, like if you ever imagine, no, you will really feel paneer is a thing, component. That ingredient you add in any Indian thing, any kind of continental sauce, you can still be okay. So of course we don't eat paneer in any another continent or another cuisine, but if you technically also try, that is a base ingredient which goes away with and okay with any flavor, for example. So same as with chicken, you add it in an Indian gravy, it will look nice. Add it into a South Indian gravy, it will go nice. Add it into a Kashmiri cuisine based curd based sauce, it will go nice. You chop the chicken, you add it into any continental sauce, add it into a red sauce, white sauce, any of the mother sauces, you add it into the bechamel. You also mix boiled chicken pieces with normal warm hollandaise sauce, you'll still like it. So chicken and paneer are two things, cottage cheese and paneer, who can really capture the market, these two ingredients. Same is with the egg. Same as with the egg. If you know the right technique, trust me, there cannot be any cuisine which cannot accommodate an egg. Like, I will give you a basic task. You name me any three cuisines of your choice. I'll tell you what can be done from egg in that. Let's make it more interesting.
Yes, that would be okay. So any dish that I
Anything,
like,
anything you like, or you can tell me any cuisine. Let's say Chinese, you can say Thai, you can say Indian. You can just name me a cuisine. I'll tell you what we can create from that. Right now, we'll create.
right now we create. I'm very fond of tawa
Tawa
pulao.
pulao.
Then
Hmm.
yes,
Okay, let's go step by
pav
step.
bhaji.
Pav bhaji, right?
Oh,
Okay. If you want to have a tawa pulao, you know the process. They add all the veggies, that red color ka nice gravy on the hot tawa piping. Then they add the pulao, toss the thing, lot of dhania, pudina, lemon juice, good to go, right? And the same thing, if you add nice hard-boiled eggs chopped in it, mix it together, have it, you will really like the same thing. Talking about your pav bhaji thing, make a nice amount of bhaji, good, nice hot bhaji. Do a half fry egg.
hmm.
Do a half fry egg. When you do, nicely do a half fry. Don't turn it from both the sides. Take hot garam bhaji, put that half fry on top of it. Add some salt, pepper, and pav bhaji masala. Grate a good amount of cheese. Put a piece of butter which melts and involves all the ingredients together. Let it bind. Take a nice amount of pav. Just break it up. Good chunk. Dip it in the whole thing with that fried egg and bhaji together, and you have it. Try this both recipes ever.
Definitely, so I'm gonna try it because I've got
Yeah.
new
And
flavors. My
these two
favorite
things I
dishes.
have never created. We never had a back end homework before this live. I have just told you. So you can see that is the frequency of egg being accommodating in any cuisine. It's just you have to know how you can. So yeah.
Definitely. Chef, you have by sitting given us so many
So
recipes to
that's
dishes that
how
I'm gonna try. Even though I'm not allowed in my very own
yeah.
kitchen because I
Same
obviously blast things
like
up
I
quite a
would say
lot.
for any hotelier, majorly we people are not being allowed. Like for in my home is the same case. My mother says that like just to cook a single cup of noodles, you will need at least 10 bowls, two, three plates, you know, one for capsicum, one for chopped carrots, veggies, this and that. So she's always like, I can't keep a maid waiting all time to wrap up your one cup of noodles, which can be so fancy. You just name what you want, it'll come to your room, but please don't mess in my kitchen. You can mess your own kitchens. So yeah.
Yeah, yes, chef, definitely. But also, when as in the start, also you mentioned how difficult it was
Hmm.
because as when you were starting, not a lot of people were looking into the field of culinary
Exactly.
as properly a field of career or as a path of, as a working profession. So, according to you, what advice would you like to give young
Hmm.
chefs who aspire to choose their career field as culinary? And what are the most likely challenges that they can face but they can overcome? So according to you, and you can also talk about how there are variety of options that one have basically if they're choosing in the
See,
field of culinary.
I would say it's a very single line tip. getting into culinary is getting into hospitality any which ways is not easy. Any department. Getting into culinary is really a very tough thing. Okay. That can be a lot of, there can be a lot of things to push you back. There can be a lot of internal involved, which is everywhere, not just in culinary, I would say, or hospitality. Let's talk about corporates, even for, engineers to any profession, XY. There's a lot of corporate politics to everything, staff politics. But, entering into culinary involves a lot of knowledge plus techniques plus in capital, I would say patience. That is a very important thing because in the initial stage, 90% of the statistics says that when people lose patience, that's where they really lose their hospitality career. It can be not just culinary, any department, because of course there will be a lot of pressure on you. There will be a lot of pressure of seniors. There will be a lot of, see, it's a very basic fundamental. You are trying to get into an industry or a field where people are doing the same thing from ages. Okay, if you talk about, let's say, when I joined as a commie, I used to be my first duty used to be, I will not name the brand of the hotel. My first duty used to be as a buffet marshal in morning buffet in X station. Okay, now you have to make hundreds of omelets in the morning. Now, if I go and I have learned in 1 week, still you have to understand there is a senior chef who is making those omelets from almost 6 years in his life, for example, and he's very good in it. So I can't just come in 20 days and just be like, okay, tomorrow I'm the pro. First, I need to learn, I need to master myself. Even I would have mastered, I need to earn the respect in front of those people. Otherwise, I can't just get into this field. So I would say, again, at the end, patience and respect is very important. Parallelly, never give up on learning. Keep on learning yourself at the end of the day. And culinary is something you can not just be always waiting that this is I'm gonna create tomorrow. You need to go. You need to be with right people. You need to learn from them. Like even like say if your shift is my shift used to be in internship almost I would say 12 hours. Everybody's 12, 13 hours, nothing new. But then I used to again go freshen up and then in my bunker and come back in half an hour and be like, chef, teach me something. He used to be like, okay, it's your internship time, go and peel the onions. I used to say, I have peeled it 12 hours. Now, can you teach me for 2 hours, please? He will never say no. At the end, we all are humans. Then, so like at the end, I would say it's always never giving up, being patient and being the more curious you are to know and learn from people. That's what it happens.
I'm very happy, Shad, that you speak about how you used to work for 12 hours and then you used to go and ask for, more on what you can learn more because nowadays it's
Yeah.
a, question for a lot of people in my generation because they even question 70 hours a
I know
week. Is it really
the clock starts when there is already 8 hours. That my 8 hours is done. Now I'm entering the ninth hour, and I guess I just need to go to the cafeteria, have my
Yeah.
dinner, and just say bye bye to the HOD, and then just leave for the day. So we technically used to do like this.
No, but I'm very happy that you touch upon that,
Yeah.
topic. Yes, but before now, Chef, there's something very interesting that we
Okay.
do. That is rapid fire
Yeah.
round.
Please go ahead.
So
My
what
favorite
you
one. Colleagues
basically,
interview, I would say.
yeah. Okay. So, so you basically have to say the first thought or first word that comes into
Okay.
your mind when I say the
Done.
following. Okay. A cuisine you haven't mastered yet, but you wish to.
Northern American cuisine. Hmm.
Okay. Captain
Hmm.
Egg.
Lot of eggs. Lot of eggs and innovation, I
Okay.
would say.
One. Oh, lovely. Okay. One kitchen tool you can't cook without.
Spatula.
Okay. What comes to your mind when I say your go-to comfort food?
Nice hot piping bowl of ramen.
Oh,
I
lovely.
think I
My
think
favorite too,
that will be
so.
favorite of half of the audience in this live. I can guarantee. Yeah.
Definitely. An ingredient that you can't cook without.
Ingredient I can cook. I can't cook without. See, I'm very
Yes.
fond of. parsley. Okay. So apart from Indian cuisine, any cuisine I would cook, I would always infuse parsley. I love parsley, that too not dried parsley. I love fresh parsley. I am really a fan of fresh parsley. Yeah. Means I have also, there are a lot many times where I have also done, let's say one time in Bahrain, I still remember there was a very amazing chicken stew being done in a North Indian way, but I was like, this parsley is so fresh for that specific thing. I changed the name of the dish and we really came up with a hot pot chicken stew because I can add parsley to that. So that's the level of parsley.
Lovely.
So yeah,
To all
parsley lover.
parsley fans that speak.
I'll send bouquets of parsley to every audience after this.
Yes. What comes to your mind, sir, when I
Hmm.
say India?
India, South Indian food. The first
Oh,
thing I land
lovely. I'm a
India,
South
the
Indian.
first thing I used to land India even before when I don't used to stay in India majorly. First thing was always to grab a joint of South Indian food, have a nice crispy Mysore masala dosa with some nice coconut chutney and red chutney.
I'm very happy and proud, sir, because I'm a South Indian.
That
I'm
was
from
the
Andhra Pradesh.
pace. First thing for me to land whenever coming to India, doesn't matter which state you are landing, they find the first South Indian joint, get a nice, amazing Mysore masala dosa, have it. Most satisfying thing.
Lovely. Now, so what comes to your mind when I say youth?
Uh, Full of innovations and excited to do a lot of things in a single plate.
Lovely. And what comes to your mind when I say IIMUN, the organization?
I would say it is a positive uh, machine which is the machine which is not working mechanically but or with the base of lot of talented faculties people full of talent and interest and which is producing every day every hour every minute each individual which is full and gain fully knowledge. That's how it can be.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
And I'm
Thank you
really
so much
privileged to
for today.
be connected with this platform and being in touch always. And as I have always been in touch with the Swiss group as well, that's a very add on to this thing. And yeah,